When we're so used to identifying with thought, we really live in this conceptual world, this conceptual reality. And we're so disconnected from our body in a way. We are resisting feelings and we don't even know it, because this resistance to the feelings is very unconscious. It's a repression. Repression is really unconscious resistance. Suppression is that you're consciously resisting. So when there's this deep repression, this deep unconsciousness of resisting the emotions, we live in this conceptual reality that we're purely identified with thought. And it's as if we've never really experienced our emotions fully. We're very like novice when it comes to experiencing emotions. And we're really at war with our emotions. We're fighting our feelings, right? Instead of feeling our feelings, we're fighting our feelings. So we have to stop fighting our feelings and feel our feelings. You might say, well, how? How do I stop fighting my feelings and feel my feelings? And even just how I'm presenting it. There's fighting your feelings and then there's feeling your feelings. You see this as two doings. Yes, fighting the feelings is something that you do. And then you say, well, how do I do the feeling of the feelings? This is actually a non-doing. Feeling your feelings is actually effortless. Fighting the feelings takes effort. This is what we're used to, is fighting our feelings. And when we are fighting our feelings, we make our feelings into the enemy. And because the experience of feelings is very visceral or somatic, it's very much in the body, we feel like the body is actually unsafe. It feels like it's not safe to be in the body. It will feel like it's safer to be in thought. But the thinking is really the resisting of the feeling. To overthink is to underfeel. That we're hiding from our feelings in thoughtland. That's why I say a good halfway point is this invitation to come down into the body. We're really pulling the attention down into the body, anchoring it down into the body. But for one who's very identified with thoughts, that feels very unsafe. You want me to come down there in the body where it's unsafe? You want me to just be with the enemy? It kind of feels like that. I'd rather be in the story about the feelings than experience those feelings fully. But as long as we're telling a story, we aren't feeling the feelings fully. The story may say otherwise. It tends to. But you have to remember that there's no story that's true. Every story is an untrue story. The mind is a liar. You can't believe your mind. It's constantly lying. So we'll try and tell a story about how it's safer to think about feelings than feel the feelings. So we'll have a story about this feeling's going to last forever. This is going to be the end of you, and all of this nonsense. And it's really this protective mechanism, but it's not really a protective mechanism. Like you hear that, oh, that sounds safe, protective mechanism. No, the mechanism that it's creating this war that you're fighting with yourself, that you aren't apart from these emotions. These emotions are actually made of you. So really there's a battle going on, that we're fighting our feelings. We're at war with ourselves. So this halfway step of coming from thinking into feeling is very effective. I'm not saying it's going to happen like that. It's really experienced as this kind of gradual process. You might notice that you like more dance, or you like doing some hatha yoga or some tai chi, or just kind of putting your feet on the ground in the grass, going for swims, like any of these things, walking, exercising, but anything that really draws the attention into the body. And it's inevitable that you're going to meet those feelings when the attention is in the body. That's why I don't even really say to like ignore thoughts, feel your feelings. It just happens naturally when the attention is permeating the body. You have no other choice but to feel your feelings when the attention is fully in the body. So like that, some of these very physical, I don't even want to call, they're not practices. Some of them could be, but some of them are just natural. It's just living life. Just dancing, gardening, putting your feet in the ground, getting your hands dirty. Like these things are very, very kinesthetic. There's a lot of texture. There's a lot of feeling. So naturally you just start feeling more. So it's not to make thoughts the enemies and say, you got to get rid of the thoughts. No more thinking, only feeling. It's not like that. It's not to try and, pop out of the mind and into the body or something like that. Not that either. But by just simply putting more of the attention on the body, you'll start noticing that as this continues, you'll start noticing that you're meeting more of these feelings. And sometimes you won't even know it. Sometimes you won't know it. Because when you're so present to the body, when you're so in the body, it shifts from being physical to then being just energetic. If you ever danced and you really throw yourself into the dance, if you really lose yourself in the dance, if you just surrender to the dance, there's just dancing. There's not you that's dancing. There's just dancing. And that dancing is purely energetic. It's just a pure expression. Like that, you can actually experience these emotions and not even know that you're experiencing any emotions. Why? Because you're not even labeling it as emotions. It's just pure energy. You're not saying, well, this is some sadness and this is some grief and this is some shame and this is... Those labels don't even arise. Why? Well, because you're totally immersed in the energy. You are that energy. In that moment, you are dancing. Like you are the dance. And that's a way that that thought process tries to protect itself. The story sustains itself by drawing the attention to it, you could say. So it wants the attention on the story because the attention is what sustains the story. Because if that attention leaves the story, you could say, and goes fully into the body, goes fully into the sensations of the body, there's no story. There's no story. That's why people say things like, lose yourself in the music, lose yourself in the dance, lose yourself in the activity. When you're feeling like that, it's as if you're not thinking. There's just the feeling. And what you're feeling is just pure energy. It's the energy of the moment, the energy of now. So the habit is this story that the attention is constantly going to. And as long as the attention's constantly going to the story, the attention's not going to the raw sensations. And those raw sensations really are prior to what we call emotions or feelings. Because at the time of experiencing it as an emotion or a feeling, it's essentially essentially what it is a sensation that you have given a label. It's sensation plus thought. That's really what a feeling is, or an emotion. The thought gives it a positive or negative charge. Your thought about this energy. See, the energy, it's neither positive nor negative. But your thought about the energy then creates a positive or negative charge. That's why we say positive emotions and negative emotions. But on the level of sensation, just this raw energy, there's no thought. There's no label. So to bring that attention down into the body and just permeate the body, permeate the five senses. I'll explain it like this in this video. I often explain it like this: it's as if there's six senses, right? You're smelling, you're tasting, you're hearing, you're seeing, you're touching, and then there's thinking. This sixth sense, the thinking, it's stealing, it's greedy, it's stealing all the attention. So I'm not saying to ignore the thinking. What I'm saying is, well, just put more attention in these five other senses. It's crazy that this one sense is getting all of the attention. So self-centered. But put the attention in the five other senses, and what you start notice is that the attention starts permeating these five other senses, and as a consequence, as a natural byproduct of that, by just pulling the attention over to these five senses that have been essentially been excluded, well, now the attention is all-inclusive. See, it's not that you are dismissing this. It's not that you're rejecting this. There's thinking, there's just less thinking. So now the attention is all-inclusive. It's now including all six. So everything is more equanimous. Yeah, there's thinking. Yeah, but there's also, I got a fish tank upstairs and it's dripping. I can hear the drops of the water. There's a fan over there. There's the feeling of the body and the posture. There's the feet on the chair. There's the seeing the gray clouds outside. All of this is happening. So it's very equanimous. It's very equal. It's very undifferentiated. It's all-inclusive. So like that, then there's such a quality, a depth, and also I guess the word is breadth, width of the experience. It's just so much more fulfilling because you see that it's actually, this was just the experience before was exclusive thinking. And then, oh, whoa, there's 5, it's like a whole new experience now. It's a whole new experience now. Right? So that's another way to think about it, is just get into the senses. Share the love. Bring that attention to the 5 other senses. And like I said, you don't have to worry about feeling things, because just bringing the attention to the 5 senses, you'll start meeting those feelings. You'll start meeting them. It won't have to be something that you sit there and go, okay, I need to feel, I need to feel, I need to feel. Sit there. This is my feeling practice. The last thing that you're going to do is feel anything. Right? So it's another way to go about it. You can, whatever one you like better, draw that attention, come down out of the bring the attention from just the head, this floating head, as people feel like they're experiencing life as this floating head walking around, to then just bringing it down into the body. It's something like when you're just walking, can you feel the ground underneath the feet? Can you feel the pressure in the soles of the feet? Can you feel the flexing, the hinging of the ankles, the hinging of the knees, the propelling of the hips, the rotation of the spine, the swinging of the shoulders? Can you feel the body like that? Can you put all of the attention, just flood the body with that attention? Because when that happens, you will essentially be feeling those feelings very effortlessly, naturally. And like I said, to feel the feelings is not something that you do. It's actually effortless. We get tangled in the mind by saying, well, this guy's telling me to feel my feelings. I get it. Okay. But how do I do that? You can't do it because it's a non-doing. To feel the feeling fully means that you aren't doing anything. We're typically running from our feelings, hiding from our feelings, and pushing our feelings away. All of that is a doing. So it's, you feel your feelings fully when that comes to an end. You feel your feelings as soon as you stop fighting your feelings. Imagine that. So if it feels like, trying to think of what people say, if it feels like it's just too unsafe to be in the body, have a look. Is it really a feeling of being unsafe in the body, or is it a thought about the body being unsafe? Because typically it's a thought. It's a thought that says, I can't be mindful of my body because the body is unsafe. And it's that thought, when believed, that then you don't explore the body, you don't put the attention. But what it is it's a survival technique of the story to continue the story. Because if you draw that attention into the body, it's like it's losing its juice. It's losing its audience, its attention. There needs to be essentially something attending that story. If you lose interest in the story and no longer attend it, that's the threat. That's what feels threatened. So it uses these sneaky tactics like, you don't want to go down there. No, stay up here with me, up in the head. Because down there, that's like, unsafe. That the rest of the body is unsafe. That's where the enemy is. Stay up here with me in the story where it's safe. This type of stuff is what actually people report, is things like this. So it's about just looking into that. Is it really a feeling that the body is unsafe? Or is it more a thought that the body is unsafe? And have you actually tried to bring the attention to the body? Or is it just, again, this looping narrative? Don't try that. You don't want that. And there's the belief in it. Because that's what keeps one in that story, keeps it looping in that narrative, is the belief in the stories or the belief in the thoughts and the attention continuing to go to that narrative. Without the belief, without the attention, it's essentially powerless. It's you that's giving power to that story. And you do so through belief, through attention. So when you stop believing what the mind is saying, like I said at the start, I think, in this video, that the mind is a liar. When you stop believing those lies, and you don't need to think of it as you are starving the story of attention. You don't need to turn the mind into an enemy. It's just, see it as isn't there more to life than just this story? So then it's more of an openness, a curiosity, that the attention it's seen as more of this, out of curiosity and openness, let's explore. Like I said, are you just trapped? Is the attention just trapped in the sixth sense? Has it forgotten these 5 other senses? Right? When you're young, there's these 5 senses. Then something tends to happen. And then there's a story about what happened. And then it's like, stay safe with me, just in this one sense. Forget about all that hearing and smelling and tasting and touching and seeing and then this wants to tell a story about the 5 senses. Right? So it's more of an invitation to explore those 5 other senses. And you'll find that when you're exploring those 5 other senses, when you treat it like that, it's just an exploration. Can you just sit, or can you walk, or can you drive and just explore the sounds, explore the sensations, the vibration of the car, or the smell of whatever it is, fresh cut grass, manure, whatever it is can you just be aware of those 5 other senses? And you'll notice that all of that story and that feeling of being so constricted and imprisoned and narrowed and tightly focused, it just starts feeling like more of this like relaxation and this opening. And it's a very spacious experience. So let's leave it at that for this one. Hopefully this helps. See you in the next one.